Hello, my name's Curtis Jones. Welcome to another edition of Curtis Jones Writings. If you're new with us, I've written about 14 books, and I'm reading each chapter of every book I've published and placing it here on YouTube so people that can't buy the books or don't have the connection so they could order them uh, can hear all the stories that I've written. I've led a very interesting life. Many strange things happened to me, and I think you'll enjoy these stories. It didn't just stop happening to me when I got grown. Strange things happened to me my whole life, and so I've written everything down. I've got my whole life story written from about 9 years old up until about 72 years old. And yeah, I'm older than that now. So today's edition is chapter 9. It's the makeover. So if you're uh, impatient and you want to hear these stories much quicker than that, you could read them yourselves. You can go to my web address here, curtis-jones-books.squarespace.com, and it has a link that will take you to Amazon where you can order them. It tells you about all the books that I've written and a little about myself, my wife. I was married for 47 years. Uh, and you could also go to my Facebook author page, and it's located here. It's Curtis Jones author page at Facebook. So let's get started. The Makeover. These are memories from 1963. We moved back to Central California that year, and I learned firsthand that when you are always moving, you have to be reestablished at every school when you start. That was disappointing to me. This time, let me read that over. This isn't easy for a young man. There's an order in place where the boy who has established himself as alpha is going to cause trouble to any new kid. I came to school in the attire that was normal for an Oklahoma kid, blue jeans and a plaid shirt that also worked for loggers. Uh, this was fine in the farming and logging communities, but not in the city of Modesto for a high school freshman. This immediately set me apart. The boys wore more than Sunday best for school. I had gone through this before. They had a on pastel colored shirts like this one in green and blue and grays and whites and yellows and oranges. The shirt looked well pressed and as though they had just been taken out of the package. They did not wear jeans, but slacks with belts that had tiny buckles. I was so different that I could be seen from one end of the hall to the other. I stood out like a sore thumb. Those boys who wished to impress the alphas would set upon any kid and do whatever was necessary to establish their dominance above him. This worked for the alpha because he has already established his dominance over all others. I was good at allowing the flow of power to whoever was seeking it. I think that this is where I learned to be diplomatic and keep some sense of self. I had always had a sense of diplomacy. You have to if you grow up the only boy in a house full of girls. Don't think that little girls are always sweet and kind and submissive to a male. They are not. I was the second oldest, and had three sisters younger than me, I still have been able, or I'm sorry, I should have been able to be less dominant, but my older sister was truly an alpha, and she knew how to control the younger siblings, all except me. Being male makes you want to be dominant. Being outnumbered teaches you how to be diplomatic. Both of these abilities have helped me throughout my whole life. If I was to get along with this new environment or in this new environment, I had to learn to conform to whatever other boys were, and more importantly, to what they looked like. I was quick to adapt to their style of dress, and I liked it. I even went a little further and added a tie and a vest to what I wore to school. It was about the same time of the Beatles, and young people took pride in the way we dressed. Perhaps this was not a smart thing to do, but I was soon rid of all the vestiges of an old Oklahoma kid clothing or the farming community where I had lived. I looked just like all the other boys at school. I was still an Oklahoma kid on the outside or on the inside. That that's a little harder to change and take a lot longer to do so. I looked like a California dude, but I was still that Oklahoma kid with all the baggage that comes with that. I was slow to be mean to the lower classmates. I was not so interested in showing myself in the pecking order. However, the pressure in school will cause some changes. I had been in school, I think I turned two pages just a second. There we go. I had been in school for some time, and a boy from Arkansas came to school. I could identify with what he was feeling. He felt out of place. He wore blue jeans and a plaid shirt. He had cowboy boots and looked like an average Oklahoma kid. Because I had come from that part of America, the boys began to prompt me to be a bully with him. They wanted me to taunt and make fun and tease him about his attire. I had just been accepted by the others and was not willing to give that up yet. I then began to behave toward him like the others had toward me when I came there. I knew what the soft spots were. I taunted him with the same unkindness I had been shown when I arrived. I am still ashamed of that to this day. If I could find him, I would offer him my heartfelt apology. I continued until he would prefer to walk home rather than ride the bus with me on the way home. I learned later that his father was telling him not to allow some bully to frighten him into avoiding what would surely come sooner or later. About 3 weeks after he started attending school at Modesto, he and I had a fight across the street from the school, and it was a knockdown, drag out fight. Okies always fight to win, and I believe Arkansasians do too. It lasted about 20 minutes and it was a draw. I felt so bad for this fight that I spoke to him the next school day, which was Monday, and I told him I was a good fighter, or that he was a good fighter. I never teased another person again. I did, however, have to fight 6 other fellows from having fought him. I did not lose any of the other fights, but I sure tried, or sure was tired of fighting by the time that was over. I had become one of the alphas, and I didn't like it. You were challenged every now and again. I was not interested in fighting. I had sisters and seemed to enjoy it, and I had all that I wanted from home. I started telling the challengers that you win and let's let it go. I never had to fight in California again. I did continue my transformation by adding a trench coat and pants that were so tight they had zippers on the legs and beetle boots with zippers on the side of them. My hair had come to almost the length of the hair of the that the Beatles wore. Dad would not let it go much longer than that. I think about what we kids would do to be accepted by our peers, and I began to see why the kids do what they do today. I was still unsure of myself. I liked all the girls. I was not going to ask one out because she might say no. I thought that meant I would never ask her out again. Oh, there were 2 or 3 I thought very highly of. One was named Nora, Nora, and the other was Mary. But of course, they were above my station. I never asked them to go with me anywhere. When I had mustered the courage to approach a girl, I would always find something that was not quite good enough about myself to stop me from doing it. My shoes were not shiny enough, or my hair had a cowlick, and my breath may not be good enough. I had a million excuses to avoid the approach. I never asked any girls out because how would I do that? I didn't even have a car. My makeover was complete on the outside, but I was still that little Oklahoma boy. The outside looked just like all the other California boys, but the character of an Oklahoma boy controlled this look. This still made me different from the other boys. I soon lost interest in fighting in their little cliques. Oh, there were enough of us on the fringe to have a circle of friends, and one of my friends had a 1955 Chevy. I have since lost touch with a dear friend that helped me through high school, but I do think about them once in a while. The ability to adapt to the new environment and to new situations is a wonderful talent to learn. The people that are always in one place and have never had to learn to adapt have become shortchanged on life's road. They have not learned what they are capable of. They have lost out on some insights that could aid and in understanding many different things as well as different kinds of people. I know that some felt bad that they had traveled so much and had so many places they thought we we had been, and ones that were shortchanged and never went anywhere. I say that the challenges we had to face were the seeds that set in motion the unique character of everyone in my family. We are indeed each a unique character. Make sure that's not 2 pages. There we go. It wasn't. Okay. I think that the age at which we experience certain things determines how we will adjust our character to handle the situation and how we may look at life after that. I am thankful for all the strange and wonderful changes I was forced to make because of the unstable life my parents shared with us. I was laying, or it was laying the foundation for what would surely be an unusual man. And I can say that with confidence. God bless you and keep you. Next time when I present, I will be presenting chapter 10, Oklahoma again. Because mom and dad just couldn't sit still. And I ended up with that wanderlust when I first got married. You'll see that in later chapters that I read. Uh, like and share, subscribe, and you'll be notified when I post these things. Hit the bell. You'll also be notified when I post these new videos. Uh, God bless you and keep you, and I will see you the next time I come to present a book, a chapter. Bye bye.